Hey, this is Ryan from PublicSpeakingPower.com, and today I'm here with my old man, Stuart McLean, and we are talking about Toastmasters and what it would be like to go to Toastmasters and be a Toastmaster.
Be a Toastmaster, is
Yeah,
correct?
be a Toastmaster.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Dad, for letting us film here on your porch.
Happy to be here.
And so
Likewise.
in the previous video, which you can check out, we talked about what it would be like to go to Toastmasters for the first time. So if you're one of those people who's saying, well, I'm too scared to go to Toastmasters, but I'd love to grow my confidence, well, go back and watch that video, listen to that podcast, because you'll find out exactly what it's like when you go for the first time, and it's really doesn't sound that daunting at all. And so today we're going to talk about, well, once you become a member, how do things flow and how do we progress and how do we learn more about public speaking. So Dad, looking at, you got some manuals here and stuff like that. What is it like once you become a Toastmaster?
Oh,
Sorry about the truck, guys. There's a moving truck just out the back, but that's all right.
Push through the paint.
Yeah.
Once you become a Toastmaster, I think you grow in confidence pretty much from day one. There's a basic manual when you join. Membership fees
Show the
are
manual. Yeah.
very reasonable. I think it's $35 for 6 months to join, and when you join, you'll get the first manual, which is competent communication, and that's got about 10 speeches in there for you to work your way through. The first one is quite simply called the Icebreaker, which is
Here we go. We'll show this. There's the Icebreaker. Yep.
the Icebreaker, which is exactly what it sounds like. You stand up and talk to people about who you are, so they can get an understanding of why you're here and what you're hoping to achieve. We had people come for different reasons. One might want to come. They might be making a speech at a wedding, or we had one chap who wanted to be able to present better at work. We had one guy who came in, he just wanted to get more confidence just to in having general conversation. So the Icebreaker is one about who you are. We had one chap who came in, he was an old bushie, and he bought these rabbit traps. He used to do, he handed them around the Toastmasters.
You might need to explain what a bushie is, because most people aren't from Australia.
It's someone who would work out in the on a farm
A bushman.
Bushman.
Yeah.
And he handed around these rabbit traps, and he was telling the story about how he used to catch rabbits. And at the end of of his speech, we actually found out that the rabbit trap was alive. So if you put your hand in it, the thing was going to close on your hand.
And chop your hand off or something.
Yeah, it was a very interesting character. It was a very interesting Icebreaker.
So be careful. If you ever go, you could lose a hand. Be careful.
So obviously everyone's different. Yeah.
So do the meetings happen every week, every fortnight?
Again, as we discussed in the previous video, it's a good idea to look around, because in my given area there was one club which meets every week. There's one that meets, the one I go to is once a fortnight, and some other clubs meet once a month. So depending on how fast you want to accelerate yourself, or how much time you have, or which club you prefer to go to, you could look at that as a factor.
Yeah, and you could also look at going to multiple clubs if you really wanted to speed up the process. Maybe they're on different nights.
We have members in our club who are actually there's 2 ladies in our club, and they're members of 3 clubs.
So they're serial Toastmasters.
Serial Toastmasters, yeah,
so
absolutely.
In each meeting, once you're a member, because I guess there's so many people, and in the previous video we said there was only about 4 or 5 speeches each time. Do you only get to speak maybe once every couple of meetings?
Pretty much, but then there's other roles within the club which you'll get to do. For example, as we said, there's a formal structure at the start of the meeting, so you might get to chair the meeting.
Okay.
So you learn how to run a business meeting, or you might be for the Sergeant of Arms that week, where you'll be charged with setting up the lectern and making sure everyone's glasses are charged, that there's tea and coffee and everything. So there's
Morning, how's it going? We're just doing some filming.
Filming?
Yeah, for one of my websites on public speaking. Dad does Toastmasters, so just interviewing him.
Taylor.
Thanks.
There's also the role of an evaluator. So as well as speaking, you're as part of the club format, you also evaluate other people speaking. So if, for example, if I was to speak, you would evaluate my speech, and at the end you would give me feedback on positive and also negative aspects of it, which again gives you the confidence to build, like this hand gestures, or you said and ah too much, or
it's a big one to get over is
the ums and ahs is tricky, but again that's where the impromptu speaking and then the getting up and making your speeches comes into play, and it really will help you.
Okay, so we spoke in the last video, each time you go as a member, you're gonna get to speak in some form, whether it be as part of being the chairman or evaluator, or whether you're just gonna get up at the table topics and give an impromptu speech. But then you'll also get a workbook which you'll go through, which you'll progress. Probably every couple of times you go, you'll get to speak and you'll go through this workbook. So number 1 was icebreakers. What's number 2?
Number 2, I do believe it's about body language. Organising your speech. Again, structure. Have a start, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, really, organising your speech. The third one is getting to the point, which is, again,
don't waffle on.
Don't waffle on. I mean, I think the thing about Toastmasters, you do need an objective. You have to start somewhere and you have to finish somewhere. Some of our best impromptu speakers can actually stand up, and as they're getting on their feet with an impromptu topic, they know they've got a start, a middle, and a conclusion, which they're thinking through their head as they get up.
And that's the best thing. The best speeches tend to be the ones where you've got something like a story which has a moral of the story. You've got the beginning, you've got your plot line, and which keeps people entertained, and then you've got a conclusion which makes people think about whatever you've spoken on. So basically, you might be able to see it in the video, but you've got this table of contents, and basically you just work through these 10 different speeches, and inside the book it's got advice and
tells you how to structure your speech,
use your
body language.
This is just on project number 8. I flicked to that. It's talking about visual aids, and it just talks about how to use visual aids, and then you present with visual aids and you get assessed on how well you did. So each time you work through this, and then obviously once you get one done, you get assessed on it and you move on to the next. So I guess once you work through all of these, you would have most things covered, most basics covered as a speaker. And then what happens, so once we get through book number 1, do people keep going?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole series of books after that. After competent communication, there's competent leadership, which takes you to the next level. Again, another series of speeches. What Ryan was saying about having a structure to the speech, one of the things that I've learned from going is if you talk about things that are close to your heart, or things that you're familiar with, it's much easier to get up and speak rather than picking a subject you know nothing about.
Yeah.
As you said, if you've got a storyline that you can know that you have an interest with, it's much easier to flow with that.
Yeah, and so Toastmasters will not only teach you how to become a better speaker, but obviously once you progress and you're a competent speaker, then they'll look at more advanced topics like leadership, which is very important as well, because if we want to be a leader, really being able to speak in front of people and share our thoughts and communicate effectively is going to be very important. So it's very good to see that they go further than just speaking, teach people how to be a leader, because it's such a good thing to have in life and build that confidence.
Yeah, well, as it says here, it's a practical guide to becoming a better leader.
Practical guide.
And that's going to stand you in good stead in business and also in anything you do in life, even if it's just being part of a sporting club or local youth group or just organising a dinner party.
And the fact is, at some point in your life, you're probably going to have to get up and speak in front of people, and I think there'd be very few people in the world that could avoid that. If you have kids, you're probably going to have to get up at their birthday parties or at their wedding. We just had my sister's wedding, and Dad gave an awesome speech at that wedding, laughter, tears, all the good stuff. But yeah, so Toastmasters definitely sounds like a great organisation to help people achieve that. Is there anything else out there apart from Toastmasters that you know of that helps people become better public speakers?
Not with the same structure. I think it has a fairly simplistic structure. You can go as a guest, you can have a look, you can try your hand at impromptu speaking, you could then become a member if you choose to join. and then you get the basic manual, which takes you step by step, simply, and you're getting help all along the way. Your icebreaker speech, you will get evaluated on. People say, we love the storyline, you didn't use your hands enough, but you had a lot of emotion in it. You will get help and assistance every step of the way as you go through from your icebreaker to finishing your competent leadership to becoming chairman of the board.
Yeah, so I think that wraps it up for what happens in Toastmasters once you become a member. Obviously, to find out more, you can check out toastmasters.com, I think it is, or you could go to a meeting and ask more about it there. But it seems like it's not a for-profit organisation, and it's run very independently with small groups of people, so it shouldn't be too intimidating for you. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a good outing. If you're stuck at home all the time with the kids like I am, it could be free cup of tea and very cheap membership fees as well.
$35 for 6 months. It also gives you a sense of community. You will build within that group friendships, which you will grow.
And for me, I've just moved to the Gold Coast just 3 months ago, so it could be a great idea for me to go out and meet more people who are like-minded and who want to improve their speaking skills as well. So thank you very much, Stuart, for coming along and being interviewed by your son.
Yeah, very happy to be here.
And to everyone out there, if you are interested in it, then I do suggest that you go and check out Toastmasters, or if you want more videos, podcasts, or articles just like this one, then head over to PublicSpeakingPower.com. Until tomorrow, which is when our next episode is, keep going out there and just keep practicing. Any final words?
Yeah, come as my guest to the next meeting.
Okay, I'll do that. Next time I'm in and it's running, I'll come along.
Okay.
Deal?
Deal.